Episode 13, the shirts are off.
Oh, that little, look at that there. Back to
Sounded
13.
nice, that, didn't it?
Very clear, these microphones, Andrew.
Okay, listen.
Always in. Oh, go. We're in.
Listen. Right, it's so important that we talk about this because it's different for us now. I just want to talk about training all the time. Training is important. People probably listen for training.
It's not just about training, though, is it?
It's not just about training.
It's not.
It's not.
It's
The
more to
next
it.
generation need us. The next generation need you.
We need you.
We need you.
Wall posters and that. I like
We
it.
need you. The next generation need us
Why?
because we have to be the example. We have to be the example to the next generation because
There's some shit examples out there.
there's some really bad examples out there. And I think there was always some bad examples, of course.
That'll always be there.
But people can see it more now. People can see it more. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's visible. People put it out there to be seen. That's
And I
the
think
mad
it's
thing.
such an important role. Like obviously we talk about the hybrid lifestyle and we talk about training and being motivated,
Being
and
alpha,
doing
bro.
this, and being alpha. But I think it's so important that we do through leadership and through setting the right example that we help the next generation. And I want to talk to you today, Dan, about this.
Oh,
How are we positioning ourselves? What can we do? What can everybody else do that's in our position right now that can lead the next generation to the right things? I don't want to say that people are soft because I'm not that guy. It's not that way. But I feel like people need very good, solid role models. And one thing we spoke about with the Red On Boys is being the alpha, is leading by example.
you're allowed to be alpha, by the way.
You're allowed.
You are
This is
allowed
what
to
I
be
want to
alpha.
talk about. And it's not, like we said last time, it's nothing about gender. It's not that men and women are different. Like you can be an alpha
Both
female.
can be alpha.
You can.
We're talking about a personality trait here. Like, it's that feeling of not dominance, but in a sense, yeah. Like you can dominate any situation that you're in, and whether it's in the fitness realm, whether it's in the business setting, whether it's in the home setting, and it's doing it in the right way through good morals and the right reasons, not just being dominant for being a prick,
For sure.
which some people are.
For sure. I think it's important that we obviously speak about that, but show through leadership. What is it that we do on a daily basis that can show the next generation the right kind of things?
I think we have different. I think we're perceived in different ways. Like I think we're seen as being quite aggressive with training and what we do on a day-to-day basis, but not many people see us being dads.
Correct.
I'm a soft shit.
Correct.
I'll completely change my, I don't know, the way I am in work compared to the way, hiya babe, the voice changes altogether.
Yeah.
Everything gets softer. I dress up as a Disney princess, and that to me is still being alpha.
Yeah, correct.
Because my daughter still sees me as alpha, 100%. Because I can be soft enough to play with her.
Yeah.
Soft, and it's not the right word.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
being
it's
a
the
dad.
right way.
Like it's just
Yeah.
being the right way, and that is part of the thing. It's being able to level change in what you're doing on a daily basis, whether it is being the all-in mentality like we spoke about previously. When it comes to training, I'm all in my training, but I'm also all in as a dad, and it's being able to do both because they're completely different personalities.
We've spoken about it before, haven't we, about being a very good, valuable member
Of society.
of society. And I think through leadership, if we can show that, it's like you've got to get your shit together.
In
Like,
all aspects.
You've got to have your shit together in all aspects. Like you cannot and you must not. It's obviously an age thing. It's obviously an age thing, and it's obviously with Freya now. I'm looking at it and I'm going, I need to make sure I smash this.
I'm worried.
Like, I need to make sure that you see me as, I mean, she will anyway, of course, but it's like even more so now, and there'll be other people in that as well. I mean, Freya is obviously very young, she's only 3, but there's probably people in that bracket now that's in a very influential position. I don't know, is it 13, 14 that we probably, like 13, 14 years old, and they are looking for people to follow. They're looking for people to mirror themselves off and to have a good role model and to have a good leader that they go, okay, this is acceptable. This is where we need to be at. And for me, I honestly believe that it is through looking after yourself, making sure you take care of yourself physically. There's no exceptions to that. It doesn't mean that you have to run ultramarathons. You have to
No.
be healthy and in shape. That is an undeniable fact. You have to make sure that your finances are in order. It doesn't mean make millions and millions of quids. It just means that you have processes set up where you can take care of yourself financially.
And your family at the same time.
And obviously as dads now, and your family and the next generation, having things in place. And nobody tells you this shit. Like, you don't learn this in school. You don't learn this. It's like, you don't learn any of this. It's just very much get a job, work 9 to 5. I think people are seeing it differently now, to be fair.
It does change.
It's changing.
It normally is that process.
It's changing, but normally after hours, we need to make sure that the other people, the next generation, see that it doesn't have to be like that. And there's nothing wrong with working 9 to 5, by the way. It's just the mindset of just do this, and then you're fine. I was never shown how to take care of my finances. I was never shown
no one is. That's
how
the thing.
to be...
It's just assumed.
It's just assumed. How to be very physical. I was never shown how to do that. Like, how do you look after your household? I wasn't shown how to look after the household. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We need to make sure that we can let people know that that is the case, and to always look outside of the box. There are opportunities outside of the box. I think we see a lot of things now on the socials where it's wrong or it's not right to be alpha. We keep saying it, don't we? Or it's wrong and you have to soften your approach. I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't believe it for 1 second. And it doesn't mean, like we've said it before, it doesn't mean be a twat. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that.
The women in my life growing up were alpha. My nan shits me up still. Like, my nan batters me.
My nan
if
used
I
to.
swear in front of my nan, I literally get a glaze of...
Yeah,
Where are you?
wow.
I'm like, oh, she's 88 and she will, half blind, and she will nail me, not ask one bit.
Yeah.
The same goes to my mum. Like, two very alpha people in the way they approach their lifestyle. Like, my nan's ruthless. I think, thinking back, I think she let my cousin go hungry one night because he didn't like the tea she made, and she was like, well, don't eat them.
Yeah.
And just stared him out. And it was to the point where he's like, probably better eat actually.
Yeah.
Because she means it, and she will. It's like, no, you are fine. You have eaten that before. You are having it. Like, it's just it's something so random, but like the way she is and the way she was there, she is through every avenue of her life. Probably why she's still going at 88. Like, she's had that many illnesses, she just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, she just keeps going. But it's the same with my mum. Works like mad, but they're all behaviours that I've learned, not off a bloke, off two women who were very, very strong-minded women, who are both alpha in my eyes. And that's the way I see alphas. It's like, it's not male or female. Yeah, it's correct. The way you act and the way you carry yourself around your life. That is it. Showing discipline
to the next generation is going to help.
That is, to me, alpha. It's showing discipline on how you approach your life.
Showing discipline, being in control of your decisions and being in control of your emotions. 100%. Like, I wouldn't say I'm an emotional person, like all in emo. I obviously have emotions, but I am so much better now at not reacting on those emotions. A lot of lads, especially lads, get this wrong every single time, and especially the younger generation, right? I was exactly the same as this. You feel a certain way, you act immediately. You don't just take that second to just think about things and think differently about the situation. It's probably not what you're thinking. Fly off the handle
rapid.
It's not what you're thinking.
Have a minute.
Do you know what I'm saying? Have a little minute. It's not what you're thinking. There is probably 7 or 8 other things that could be the possibility of the reason what it. It's just like, obviously that comes with age and time. You know, it does come with age and time.
It comes with life experience and being through different things, and probably in the past reacting like these lads
have.
And
then looking like a complete idiot
like a dick
by doing that, for sure. I think it's important to understand as well that, like, there is not just one way to make it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, I always thought that there is only this option and this is the only way to make it in my eyes. Like, I do feel, and there is pressure as women as well. I think it's a different kind of pressure to a man. There is a lot of pressure on a man to be the provider. There's a lot of pressure on a man to show up no matter what. There's a lot of pressure to provide for the household and to do this thing. And you know what? I think it's important that people level up to that standard. I think it is a big thing to conquer. And I think as men, we must do that. That is something that we should definitely...
People quite happy to let other people take over and take a passenger role when really they should be in the forefront and going after it themselves. People are very easy to let other people take over and dominate a situation. Where I think, as a bloke, I think you should be the one who's fighting to be the driver behind that.
And you know what? It's not easy as well sometimes. Like, you see it on socials and stuff. It's not easy
we get sensitive about talking about this because people nail you for it, and it's like...
This is why I said before.
Yeah.
This is why I said before we need to talk about it, because nobody wants to talk about it for the exact reason that
Scared of what
people
say.
might get sensitive about it. People might... But this is why we must talk about it. This is why we must address it and be like... It's obviously, we're talking about men here, right? For the sake of it.
Yeah.
We'll bring an alpha female in on the next one, and we'll let an alpha female show how they do it.
Yeah.
Okay? But if we're talking to the lads right now, we have had all the same feelings as you. We still do. There's the comparing. There's the feeling of inadequacy. There is the pressure to provide. There is the pressure and all that kind of stuff. And it's right.
It's good
right.
pressure.
Do not get bogged down by it, okay? Try your best to get yourself around very good people. And this is for the next generation as well, because I even think it's going to be harder for Freya and Rosie. I think it's going to be harder for the next generation because there is going to be so much. There's going to be way more than there is now. There's going to be way more distractions, confusion about what to do with your life. Where should I go?
Bro, we grew up with dial-up broadband.
What job should I do?
People don't know what that is anymore.
I know. What job should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? It's just like, it's going to be really, really tough. And it's one of those things where if you can show willingness and discipline, and if you can have control over your emotions and think outside the box, I think this is why I'm obsessed about that conspiracy thing, because people want you to think in a certain way
To control
so that they have control.
The narrative ain't like that, bro.
It's not like that. And over time, I've understood that there is so many ways to get it. There's so many ways where you can progress. Think outside the box, but be willing to work hard. Be willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done.
I think that's the key thing. The younger generation, and we keep bagging them, don't like to do the harder minutes, the harder yards when it comes to, or even shittier jobs. Like, the first jobs I had weren't nice. Fucking worked in the kitchen pot washing at the stadium, but did like 14-hour shifts because I knew I'd earn more money than my mates who were on the bar doing 3-hour shifts. Yeah. Covered in food all night. I'm not arsed, but doing, and you understand the value of how much what it takes to earn money. Yeah. And understand the value of money and doing it from a young age. I wanted to get a job soon as me. I got one, I think it was like just 15 going to 16. As soon as I could get one, I was getting one. Because then you get freedom and what comes with earning money and what comes with that. So many people now, especially younger lads, don't have a job and they're still 21. And they're still bumming about, or they're using uni as a way of not having a job. You know, when I was at uni, I was coming back at a weekend to work my job at the same time then going back to uni. Like, mad.
And the mad thing is, it's not even their fault.
No, it's just...
Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying?
There's that much distraction and that much people say, no, you know, just chill.
Crazy.
Just take it easy.
It's crazy. Like, we do not want to bag the millennial or the new people coming through, because it's just not like that. They have got different problems to what we had. They have got different ways and different pressures to what we had. One thing is for certain, we have to lead by example though, and we have to show how to be a good member of society, how to get things done when you want them to get done, how to take control of yourself and show discipline. I think it's just so important. Massively. Show up every single time and do what you need to do. Like I said, the pressure can be quite overwhelming, which is why we do, unfortunately, see poor mental health, isn't it? It's why we often see, and everybody watching, you'll see the same thing. Things are happening all the time, and unfortunately, it's a lot of men. And is that because they can't handle the pressure? Is that because they're struggling? They don't know what to do?
Is there no one to talk to?
Mate, honestly, that's what pisses me off like so much. You need to come and speak. Like, you need to come and get around
people. The
brotherhood, you need to get around the right men. You need to get around.
How much better do people feel when they've trained, not even necessarily in a group setting, just trained in general? Physical activity is the key to a lot of mental health issues, and people don't want to train or don't know that is an avenue.
For sure.
It's just people like to, and it's probably an awkward one, but people want to go to groups and talk about things, but never actually action anything. They just talk about planning for mental health and how do you feel about this? And it's like, I listened to one recently, someone who was suffering with an addiction, and he was like, I knew my pitfalls and I knew my trigger points of why I was going around in this next level circle of everything. And they were in a position where they were elite level sport, with a massive gambling addiction, and he knew his exact triggers of when things would happen. But every therapist he went to see just told him what his triggers were, and he was like, yeah, but I know that. I'm switched on enough that I know the trigger. I just can't figure out how to stop that trigger. But it's like, but then he got into that by, again, getting into and tapping into his fitness, tapping into where he needs to be, and then things started to organise again. It's so simple sometimes. The
environment, the best way to change the way you feel is to change your environment. Facts. Getting around the right people. Like, it really bothers me. It really, really bothers me when people with poor mental health are not doing well. Because I just feel like, I feel like just saying, you just need to come here with us. You just need to get in here with us and you will be absolutely sweet. You will feel much better. You'll feel like you're getting more purpose. You will feel so much better. Changing your environment around the people. Like, get amongst alphas.
You belong to a community then. That's the thing. You belong. You're part of something. That's the key.
Change your environment. Listen to alphas. Look at the people that are doing really well and get amongst it. Like, that is the best thing that you could be doing. And this is our responsibility now. Like, obviously we talk about fitness, yeah? This is our responsibility, so much so. Obviously to our members and those that we're quite close with as well, our responsibility is so much more than just fitness. And this is the way we see this hybrid lifestyle, isn't it? It's not just about training. We need to make sure that we are being an example and that we can communicate well enough so that people feel good that they can come into our world and see the benefit of our world, because we know that it changes people. Facts, like it just does.
The amount of people we've had in the past, members-wise, who've been big party heads, big sesh heads, and have knocked it on the head, or at least minimised it to a point where they can actually train, they can actually live a decent lifestyle around it and not just all be around being in the kitchen till 6. You know what I mean? Like, that is always going to be a part of people's lives. That is sweet. But if they can then prioritise the health side of things more than that, make things like that a seasonal thing instead, that will help. But people forget that a lot of their biggest cruxes are the reasons they stay in that kind of same circle of mental health being poor. They don't use the biggest driver, which is fitness, to get themselves back out again. That belonging in that kind of routine that fitness and anything you do within fitness instills is what's going to keep your head sweet.
And I'm sure it's really hard when you're in a low position to think outside the box, because you're probably replaying things over and over and over in your head. It's really tough to think, right, do you know what? I'm going to reach out. I'm going to go and get amongst these winners. That's exactly what people need to do, is get amongst people. Just reach out, go and speak to somebody and get amongst people that are winning, get amongst people that are working towards something and moving forwards.
As important it is to talk about your problems, you need to action something and actually do something around it. If you just always talk about it, you're still just talking and still in the same mindset. There needs to be some form of action after it, whether it's training, whether it's it just needs to be movement of some kind. That's going to help you feel way better. 100%.
Need to get amongst the right people. Get amongst the boys. Like,
just bench it out.
Bench it out. Style it out, bench it out. You just need to get out there and chat. Just open your mouth, chat to the boys. I think this is what's missing.
What?
The unwritten brotherhood, the unwritten rule of men looking after men. And like I said, we'll get an alpha female on and talk about the female thing. But whilst we're on this narrative, we'll continue. Men looking after men that's not needed, that's not needing to say anything. Like, it's an unwritten rule. It's something that you should just do. Lads looking after each other, men looking after each other for the right reasons, and not trying to get one over on somebody else.
It's just the sake of getting together to look after someone. You don't even need to talk about the situation or what's going on. They just know that everyone turning up and everyone being around them is enough for them to go, right,
for sure.
I've got a bit of a support system here. I'm sweet.
This is it.
That's key.
The unwritten rule, the brotherhood, men looking after men genuinely. That is what, and winners, people that are doing very well, would never ever bag somebody that's not doing as well and that needs help. You would never see that, ever. If somebody comes into our world here now and not doing so well, watch what happens.
That's not an alpha.
Alphas don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch what happens if somebody comes in here. It's the thing. You're locked in, you're looked after. And then you can start to see a bit more clarity. Wood through the trees, Dan.
Come and get involved.
Come and get involved, do your thing.